Like it's like so funny having to like I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a little bit of a head start before stream like really starts, and then what's it called? I'm like I've lost track of time and I look up and it's like, oh, it's time for stream to start. I just showered, so my hair is very wet. So we're just gonna do the Curve PNG today. Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Anyways, so I'm going backwards a little bit in like this page because, as per Johnny's suggestion, he said I should probably change Zelda's shirt so that it's a little less obvious that it's her. Link can stay like that, I think, but yeah, I'm also just gonna give her a little bit of a more modern look. Just to fit the world a little better. Like there's still in my head, there's still parts of the world that are still very much like grounded in like regular high fantasy. But then in like more developed areas, that's where we start to get like a more like the more like modern stuff. So that's how that works in my head. And like the really like sci-fi elements come when with like the really like more nice and rich and developed areas because of course it's like that. I'll do something like that, I think. And then I still kind of want to give her lipstick, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that just yet. It's okay, I don't think she needs to be super detailed. Just turn this back on and we'll fix the color, and then we'll get to rendering, because that's the big one that I want to do today. Also, as a heads up, I will most likely be ending stream a little bit early today, probably like 30 minutes early. Johnny wants to go to the mall, and I gotta go pick up my friend from the mall. His class is gonna be over at like 12:50, so I don't want to keep him waiting. And so we'll probably end at like 2 rather than 2:30 today. And we should just make this like her skin. All right. I think I like that. Gonna be as always, it's gonna be a nice and relaxing, probably stream today. Yeah, so let's see. I still think her eyes are just a little bit off from each other. It's probably because this one is like touching there. I want to see if I can like get a nice thin like separation just to help that a little bit. I'm gonna focus on not erasing like that part I did though. Yeah, infinitely better. Oh my god. The color there, and then I think this is almost ready to send off to Johnny for backgrounds. I'm just gonna do the rendering real quick, just because the rendering I think in my head is gonna be like decently simple, and then and then what layer should it be on? I'm gonna have a layer 10 just kind of like right here above the sketch, and that's gonna be our render reference. So rather than, because I don't have reference sheets for June yet, and I kind of have one for Kina, but I need to redraw it. So for now, I'm just going to like keep like the rendering colors like this rather than just so it stays a little bit consistent. So we're just gonna have like a little hidden layer that I'll have to remember to turn off so that I remember what colors to use to render these characters in. Yeah, no, that's fine, because we'll put like a different one over that. But yeah, let's see. How have my days been recently? Well, I got my hours like majorly cut yesterday during work. And I was a little confused about that. So me and my friend, we were talking about it. Apparently so we recently got like a new general manager at the store, and yesterday, for whatever reason, he scheduled three shift leaders, the people who get paid a little bit more than us crew members, all in the morning when it's like super slow. So labor was at like 55% when my friend got there, and when I left, because I got called in late and then got let out early, when all of that happened, it was still like 33%. And labor is supposed to be high in the morning, but the point is that we're supposed to be able to get that labor down to like 20 something, like 24, 25-ish% by like afternoon. Otherwise, it's just screwed for the rest of the day. And I left at 3 p.m. and it was 33%, so not good. Very not good. But it was like disappointing because I was supposed to have a 6-hour shift yesterday, right? And instead I got a 3-hour shift because I got called in at it was supposed to be 10 to 4. I ended up working 12 to 3. So it's just like, man, that sucks. So, hopefully things will be fine. I think that's pretty much it for June's thing, so let me go back up here. Put a solid color. Then, next up, we'll do her jacket. But yeah, it was like ridiculous yesterday too. Wednesdays, I really don't like Wednesdays because that's going to be early release for the schools around here. And oh my god, early release just sucks so bad. Because, okay, sure, lunch rush, right? We expect that at 12 already. Big whoop, right? However, like, the thing about Wednesdays, because the middle school and elementaries, they get out, like, roughly at about 1 o'clock or so. It's, like, back-to-back rushes. Like, you need to be, like, ready for that. And our shift leader, who was on the floor, took her half at 1 o'clock. So it was just me and my friend in the front, and it was just like, what is going on? And as it turns out, too, we ran out of, like, the correct burger wraps that we were supposed to be using, so we, the people who are bagging the orders and putting them on the trays and everything know what to do, or know which burger, like, they're holding in their hand. There was none of that. So everything got wrapped in the same burger, and we had to keep asking, like, backline, like, is this the, like, yada yada, right? Man, it was frustrating. At some point, though, this was what really sent me, like, over the edge. At some point, my manager sent my friend to go take out the trash in the back line. Sure, fine, whatever, right? Understandable, right? But then the police showed up. And they were like, can we look at your cameras? And the shift leader does that. Not the shift leader will guide said police to the cameras, not the crew member. So I get left up front by myself. At this point, it's like 1:40 something, so the middle schoolers have definitely had plenty of time to, like, walk over here, which is unfortunate. And, oh my god, there was, like, 5, 7 middle schoolers yelling at me in, like, the dine counter. Just like, can I get a water cup? Can I get a large fry? Can I get this? And I'm like, okay, hang on, right? Because the big thing is that corporate wants us to focus on the drive-thru So I'm trying to focus on drive-through, but then at the same time too, there's like dine orders that need to be taken out. And like I'm trying to get those out too, because like, you know, these people are waiting for their food, and it is just like hot holding is not like a like a like a perfect solution to keeping food warm. It'll keep it warm for only so long. It's definitely not going to keep it fresh. So it's just a whole thing. And I'm like getting like upset already. At some point I was finally just like, can somebody please come to the front? My friend thankfully did for a little bit. My manager was just like, what are you doing at the window? Or the shift lead, I should say. The shift lead was just like, what are you doing at the window? Isn't like their register supposed to be there? I'm like, you guys left me up front by myself. What do you want me to do? I was pissed. But yeah, I was like yelling at her, like you're leaving me like up front by myself here during the school rush. Is like, you're getting mad at me for like not getting orders out. Like, what do you want me to do? I have like 5 kids yelling at me. I have all of these customers waiting for their food. It was just a whole mess yesterday. I was mad, but I did apologize because I was just like, I didn't want to yell, but I ended up yelling. It's okay though. She apologized too, because it was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. You know, looking at this more, I do like June with the lighter hair than the black hair a lot more, actually. I knew in my head she was always meant to have like sort of like a short-ish, long, well, shoulder length-ish hair, and a fringe. Which I really like about her design. I think she's got like, she has like a little bit of an edge to her, but like not so much that it's like, oh, this is like her character. It's just enough where it's like, it's very, I think it's very cute and charming. Move that swatch down real quick. I guess I could talk about like characterizing June a little bit more. June is very like, she's very, I like to imagine that she reads a lot. I like to imagine that, I like to imagine, like I didn't just write this character. She reads a lot. She's very like passionate about like these things. I think at some point she probably tried to become an adventurer, but like it just wasn't meant to be for her. Like, she just couldn't like really handle it. I don't really know what class she would have been. Which I think fits really, cause like, oh, I guess like from a character perspective, right? She would ideally be a bard. I think she would be pretty good at that. But at the same time, it's like I just don't think like in my head she can't really like handle the combat all that well. Like it really makes her like nervous and everything. So rather than do that, she instead reports on the stories of adventures. Like she finds that to be like a really fascinating topic. She finds it to be like really exciting to hear about all these different things. That's what I really love about June. I also adore the fact that I don't think it's the most original idea, because like, you know, changelings and all, but like, oh, her teeth are supposed to be white. Hang on. I don't know what happened there. Anyways. It's not the most original idea I think to have a changeling like always be like, oh, I don't want to use like my powers and disguise myself and hide. I want to like be out in the open. And I think, but you know, there's still like a lot of merit to that, right? I think it still makes like a really interesting character at the end of the day. I should really label these. Hang on. No, not. I didn't mean to do that. Hang on. 20. So we'll just write skin. This is her lipstick. This is her teeth. / sclera. This This is her jacket. This is the sapphire. Sapphire spelled with one P or two? I think two looks correct. Oh boy. I can't spell on stream. Oh, how embarrassing. But, yeah. I like to think that she's very, like, passionate about it. She loves reading. I think she particularly enjoys, like historical texts, like, especially, like, first-person accounts like that. I think she would love that, like, so much, because, so much of what she does focuses on the whole, like, she really loves, like, honest stories like that. Like, she's not huge on, like, the kind of adventures who are gonna, like, blow everything, like, out of proportion and be like, oh, yeah, and there were, like, 17 thieves, and we were surrounded, but like, no, she's not into that kind of, like, she's not into that kind of stuff at all. She really enjoys the, like, the more, like, honest, adventuring stories that are out there. And I think it's cute that she, like, reports on those as, like, a little podcast. I do feel kind of bad, like, characterizing her a lot more, like, right now. And then I know, like, what plans I have for her, like, later on. She won't die. I'll say that much. But, it is going to be, a bit scary for her. Well, but, you know, that's okay. I think she's a very, like, sweet person. I think, I like to imagine she's very extroverted. She loves going out. She loves hanging out with friends. That being said, she probably doesn't have, like, as much friends, though. Some people are probably a little put off by her being a changeling. Just because so many of them are, like, so, like, disposed to, like, trickery and everything, but, you know, once again, when you really get to know her, you learn that she really doesn't, like, lean into, like, that part of her, like, at all. She really is just, she really does just, enjoy being herself, and, of course, herself is just the little changeling behind the mask. Hence why she calls her podcast the Unmasked Podcast. Because once again, just dedicated to telling, like, truthful stories about, like, adventures and stuff like that. I think she's really cute. I think maybe, though, her one flaw is that she kind of doesn't think a lot of things through. Like, in the story, there are gonna be, like, some major consequences for something that she's gonna do, and she's not gonna realize, the danger she's put herself in until, until it's right at her doorstep, because to her, I think she's not necessarily naive like that. I think it's more like, it's more like she's so focused on, like, the good that, like, her little, like, thing is doing, rather than, the consequences of it that she brought upon herself. I should really... Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can bring that out. I just noticed that. Also, shout out to my friend yesterday for recommending me this soundtrack. It is so cute. They had sent it to me because I was, like, so stressed out yesterday. And they were like, here you go. It's very nice soundtrack. They also said I should play the game. It's called Coffee Talk. Yeah, 2 years ago. And the neat thing about it is that it looks like a little cafe thing, and then, like, it also has, like, a bunch of fantasy elements to it, so I'm like, that is cute. I think I might actually check that out. Mostly because, like, especially because it does look to be like a game, like one of those indie games that are like a lot cheaper, but like really like good at the same time. And I want to play like a bunch of other games right now. It's just I don't want to spend the money on it. Let's see, let me try shaping this out, by the way. So I'm keeping my phone on with the notifications on today just because I want to be able to see like updates from my friends, like, hey, are you actually going to be able to make it today and stuff. So I want to be able to like see that before anything, because when stream is over, ideally I'm going to start getting ready to go over there and grab them real quick. Alright, I think that's good. And we'll just, I think these are the same color, yeah. So, fill that in. Yeah, that's looking like a little bit more natural. There we go. Nose is itchy. Ugh. I've been very sniffly, I think lately. I'm not sure if it's like an allergies thing. I have been sneezing a lot too. Which is not fun, but I think it's not terrible either. It's not like, I don't feel like dizzy or anything, or sick even. So I think it's okay. Probably just like dust or something. Yeah, and then I got my 2 paychecks from the game store too. I don't think it's everything that I'm owed, because it only came up to about 200 something. But I'll have to like make sure, because I'm not terribly sure about it either. I am glad I got them though. I cashed them in right away because my coworker over there suggested, hey, you need to like check those in like while our payroll account still has money. And I'm like, say less, I am on my way to the bank right now. The thing is though, is that the one thing I'm worried about is that the last time I got the paychecks from the game store, it was like, it took like a week or two before I got the letter from the bank saying that the checks bounced. So I still don't even know if I'm in the clear yet for that. So I'm kind of worried about that. I'm not gonna lie. Because you know that does just mean like I'm gonna continue to be short like another like $200, which is not fun. Especially when I got like the base to pay off. Part of me is kind of regretting it a little bit right now, but I know it's like, yeah, I still have my job, and like it's not that bad. Like, it really is, and I think I'm just like blowing it out of proportion just because I have like this payment to do. Because most of the time it's fine, really. Let's see. Just like get some distinction going on like these little locks of hair right here. We'll do the same, just like kind of something like that over there. I think that's pretty good. So let's go over here. Oh, that was supposed to be, oops, it's okay. Then go ahead and write that down again. My handwriting, I swear, looks a lot nicer digital than it does in real life. I think I just need a pen that writes in a very thick ink. I'm finding, like, because what it is, when I look at my lettering, it's very, like, big, and but, like, it's very tall. It really fills out, like, the line on a page. And then, it just doesn't look that good. It's like, it just looks like sloppier somehow. But then like when I write here, and of course I usually have my pen sizes set to like a thicker size, it looks all right. So I'm like, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just need a thicker pen to write with. Chisel tip pens, for example, or markers, I should say. Chisel tip, for real, has to be one of like the best like shapes out there for markers and writing in general. Like if you take an Expo marker, for example, like the thick-barreled ones, those are so pretty to write in. Those actually, like when I write with those, it actually looks so nice. So I'm fairly convinced that it's like, okay, this is just like an issue with like the kind of pen that I'm using, and that's fine, you know. But it's not like I do a lot of like writing in general, or I do a lot of writing, but it's more like I don't do a lot of physical writing. Johnny gave me a journal on Sunday. It's a red little mini pocket journal, and I don't really know what I'm gonna write in there because I'm not good at journaling. I don't really know what I would write about. I feel like if I wrote stuff about Carl's Jr., one day I will get arrested and that journal will be used as evidence against me in court. As just all of that to jokingly say, I don't really want to complain about my work in a journal, and then that's all I write in there. I think that would be very like depressing. Let's see, it's probably worth it, yeah, if I just... Sometimes when like a color is dark enough on a thing, I just won't even like bother with like shading and stuff, but it does kind of look like I can go like a shade or two darker here, so I'm just gonna do it. And then, real quick, I'm going to stop right here. Oops. And I want to do a test export. So, let me just mark down the thing for her shirt real quick. Then we'll save, because I just realized it's been 30 minutes and I have not done that yet. What I'm going to do, I'm going to export this. Okay, so I want to bring this down to... what is Webtoons? Or let's go with Tapastic. I think Tapastic allows of slightly bigger pages. Upload size or something. Okay, the thumbnail, there's no height limit, but it's got to be 940 pixels wide, so... Okay, so let's just change this to 940. Is there a resolution, like, thing? Like, can I keep this at 600? I don't know. Well, real quick, let me change this to 3,000. 940 divided by... Or would it be... No, it would be 2,500 divided by 940, I think. Or, hang on. I'm so confused. 940 divided by 2,500. So that's about 38% smaller. So what is 3,000 times 0.38? 1,140, okay. So we're gonna do that. And then I'm just going to... We're gonna export this. I have it copied to clipboard. I'm gonna send it to myself through Gmail. I just want to see how it looks. There's like a thing here that I've been meaning to unsubscribe from. Let me do that real quick. Oops. Send, and then let me check it on my phone because I just want to see what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that works out. Okay, so yeah, because Johnny was warning me about this, and I figured I could just do like some test exports. And it does look like exporting it to a smaller size works out perfectly fine. So that's really good to see then. Alright, so I guess now we're gonna move on to Kina down here. Or actually, no, we should move on to the microphone. So I'll do this. I'm not gonna... no, I'm gonna make that the standard acrylic texture. I'm not gonna... I am gonna be, like, relatively detailed about... Oh, actually, no. Get rid of all of that, make it a little bit darker. Sorry, my whole thing is just, like, my shadows need to be very strong. Oh, shoot. There is a bot in chat. Let's see. Ban. There we go. Here we go. I was planning on working on this more yesterday, but what did I do yesterday? Oh yeah, I got stressed out about work. Yeah. And then me and Johnny ended up like going out that night because he wanted to go to this Korean place that was across the freeway. Speaking of the freeway, my dad is not home right now. He's in Philippines. But he did instruct me, Kyra, there's something wrong with your wheel bearings. Do not go to the freeway because if you lose control on the freeway, that would be worse than losing control on the main street. So I was like, okay, Dad, sure. Right? I won't risk that. All of that being said, though, we did end up going, like, on the freeway, but it was Johnny who was driving, at least. So, that was good. I'm glad he got, like, his new glasses, too, because I was a little worried that he wasn't actually going to be able to see how he was driving. The other week, I probably would have mentioned this had I not canceled both stream days last week. But the other week, on Saturday, we drove out again, and that was because Johnny was going to pick up an amp that he bought online. And it was really funny just, like, sitting in the car with him, because he just goes, Kyra, I'm, like, so glad that it was you doing this, because I think I would have crashed by now if it was me driving over here. I'm like, it's okay, Johnny. And I don't mean that as, like, a brag thing. I just think it was, like, kind of funny that he, like, mentioned that. I know Clive and Johnny before were like, oh, Kyra, like, Johnny drives better than you. And I'm like, what? Really? But now it's just like, okay, it's... It could be that Johnny drives smoother than me, because I do kind of tend to brake a little late sometimes. Especially if I'm just a little bit distracted, but, most of the time, my driving is, like, just perfectly fine. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna worry too hard about getting the render right on the microphone. So I'm just going to... I'll just do this. Oops. There we go. Something like that, and then... And I did see one of my friends respond to me today, so I think that friend will be good to go. We'll just have to see about the other one. Oh, I should probably also let Clive know. Like, hey, at like 2 o'clock, start getting ready so we can go to Tyler Mall. Let me do that real quick. Because we're going to the mall. That should be good. Let's see. When Johnny sent me the picture of the amp that he bought, like all I had, it had like the picture of like the British flag on it, right? So I was joking around with Johnny on the way over to that person's house, just like, what would you do if like the person you bought the amp for was like actually British, right? He was joking around saying like I would hold up like a microphone to them and be like, could you say that again? Which I think is so funny. Oh my god, I completely forgot to render her headphones too. Okay, we'll do that real quick. This one I will probably put like a swatch for. Just because it is part of like her attire and everything, so. Oops. Let's see. Switch that. Where is my eraser? There it is. Actually, I have like the light off in my room right now. I cannot see like my express keys like at all. But that is okay. Really, I should be getting like used to like where they are already. It's just I don't know why it's so hard for me to do that. You know, thinking back on it, this one mall that we're going to, I used to go with my friends that were in high school with me. One of our favorite things to do over there was play hide and seek in public. That was fun. That was actually pretty fun. Probably a little dangerous, but we always made sure like there was a group chat and everything. So that way we wouldn't like lose each other. But yeah, it was mostly fun. And I think people didn't really mind too much because we made sure not to bother too much. And like if we were asked to like stop, we would stop and like go somewhere else to do it. Like, yeah, sure. Say less. And then let's just do this one. It's probably gonna be like the same black as the shirt, honestly, but it's okay. We'll just do this just in case. I think normally I would have like rather send this off to like Johnny to do the background first so I can get an idea of the render, but I think this is just like fine as it is. Like just like the really like natural lighting. I don't really want to like hit like viewers with something like very intensely like full of environmental lighting right off the bat. I think that would be a little bit much. We'll say headset 1 and headset 2. There we go. So we have that. That is that top panel done. With shadows at least. We're gonna move on down here to Kina and everything. I think Kina really is like one of my favorite designs personally. I think she's got like a really Well, I also just really like the 1920s look to her, which is gonna be really fun to explain in my comic. But I'm probably just gonna be like, oh, well, yeah, it was probably like that like 100 years ago in the world, so it works out. I don't actually know like what year I'm gonna put the world in, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make up any numbers. I'm not sure if I'm even gonna like have it like be explicitly stated, to be honest, because I don't really know. Um, because on one hand, I feel like it's probably not that big of a problem if I just make it like the same year, but then I feel like that's too on the nose, right? But at the same time, I've personally always like firmly believed that like fantasy worlds, because of the existence of magic, will just naturally develop a lot faster than like the real world. So I feel like I could technically argue this is like 15 something, right? Because realistically, I don't think it would take that long for society to get like as uh, as far as we are today, if they had magic and gods and like everything. Like does that make sense? I don't know. Just it just feels like it makes sense to me. I don't know. Let's give her a little bit of something on the edge there. I've been doing that lately in my art. I think it just adds a little bit of depth to stuff. I've also been like kind of doing this around like the eyelids too, just to really sell the idea that it's a round sphere under them. I feel like maybe also I could like add a little bit like right here, just to kind of give like the eye kind of like sunken in shape, but I'm not sure. Does that really look like it makes a difference? I don't know. I'm not good at this. I mean, I am good at this, but like I still don't know what I'm doing. I do like the flow of this too. I think before I send this off to Johnny, I am gonna go ahead and like write down like some speech bubbles and everything. Here we go. We were at Barnes and Noble yesterday, me and Johnny. That was like the first place that we stopped by when we went out. Um, there was this guy and this girl standing at like the D&D section in Barnes and Noble, and I wanted to like look at the stuff there, but they were like really like close to it, and it looked like they were like having like a pretty in-depth conversation and everything. So I was like, let me not bother them, and we'll just come back later, right? So we went to the other section that I know has like vaguely D&D stuff. Like they have like this little spot uh for a bunch of tabletop games, and I mean like board games and stuff. So they do have like the playing dice and everything. So of course they also have like the set of 7 D&D RPG dice. And we're looking at them, and I'm showing them off, and I'm showing Johnny like, oh yeah, I saw this set like the last time that I came here, and I wanted to get it, but it's like $20, yada yada yada. And this same guy shows up like, oh, there's also dice here, and I'm like, oh yeah, there is. So he starts talking to us. I tell him like, yeah, I've been playing like D&D since like 2016, and he goes, oh wow, me too. And I'm like, yeah, but like in more recent years, I haven't really like gotten a chance to like really sit down and play. I've been more of a like a forever DM as of right now. I actually run games for a local game store, from where we're at and everything, and somehow the conversation spirals into a thing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lore. Guy was super passionate about it, so I'm just hoping that it like stays like that. Okay, skin. And go down, and then let's get her eyes. Kina's got like these very warm, sort of like hazily eyes, I think. I love her eye color like so much. I think this is literally one of the best shades ever. Her color palette is so like warm and inviting. I think, once again, I think she's probably one of my best designed characters. More importantly, I think she puts the way she wears all of the colors together, I think is just like incredibly like pleasing to the eye too. I think a lot of times red is hard to like make work, but she really likes like puts those accents and everything to like work, and just like the little bit of green for like a smidge of coolness, even if it's just a little bit, I think works really strongly in her favor. So I love her a lot for that. Let's personalize Kina now. Kina has always been like a... She's chaotic good in my head, I know that for sure. But at the same time, I think like, I was still like fairly young when I made her, so, I think in my head now it's more like she's very sweet, she's very motherly, she's very, like she does like, she loves to like look out for people, or rather she kind of just naturally does that because that's kind of what she's always done for like a long time. In my head, her dad died when she was really young, when her and her two brothers were really young, and she was the oldest of the two, and her mom was like so broken by it, so she kind of like had to be the strong one in the family for that. And I think she holds a little bit of resentment for that. So a huge part of her is just like, when do I get to like not be the responsible one? And for a time she was. She was originally like in this lore. She's originally part of an adventuring team called the Fireflyers, but eventually she ended up like retiring from them, choosing to just run like the family tavern for a bit, because her mom also wanted to like move on in a sense and start doing a little bit more with her life. So that was that whole thing. So Kina was like, you know what, yeah, sure, I'll take over this thing and you can go do your thing, mom. So I think she's like really sweet for that. But in reality, I think it was more something to do about like the whole funny secret time travel agency that I had like written up for the world. Do I think that the time traveling agency is gonna play any major part in the comic? Probably not. I'm not gonna lie, because it's a little silly. I think it's a little goofy, and I think it's kind of hard to introduce that concept very naturally. But I do think when I run more games, I want to start introducing or more one-shots, I should say. I want to start introducing like more of like that agency's influence in the world, because they are a big thing. Their whole point is that they kind of push people to like do things that they're kind of just like meant to do from a timeline sense, but sometimes agents who are out on the field and they discover like, hey, there's this big event that's going to happen, is there anything that we can do to stop it? They will stop it. So one of the one-shots that I wrote for the store, Kina had to help the players, my players, stop some terrorists who held up a little adventuring convention and everything. And of course, I think like the way that she like the way she thinks through all of like the stuff she's going to say and everything. I think it's very fun. She's a really secretive person. Like she's very warm and inviting, I think, but I think she does have a tendency, because of her involvement with this agency especially, is like she's very like secretive, and she does a really good job, I think, if I were to imagine, like if you tried prying into her past and everything, tried to get to like really know her, I think she would do like an excellent job at like deflecting that and just giving just enough information to not really like answer the question, but also to like satisfy anyone who like asked, you know. For example, she was going to be a part of a different one shot for beginners, and the whole thing was like the players were supposed to be a little bit suspicious as to how she got clued into yet another terrorist attack. The one that I mentioned before was kind of a rewrite of this one that I had originally planned. And her whole thing is like, oh, you hear all sorts of things when you run a tavern, you know. It's the only hard part is like picking out which ones are like actual threats and which ones are the drunken ramblings of a patron. And you know, it's like still doesn't exactly like answer like how do you know there's going to be a terrorist attack today? But it's also just like I think a fairly like reasonable thing to like a fairly reasonable like explanation as to how she could possibly know. That is itchy. God, I'm still sniffling so much. I am so sorry if that is annoying. Oh, hello, Big Cheese. Welcome. We're rendering this comic page that I was working on last time. It is a whole thing. I've been talking about like characters and stuff. Right now I'm talking about Kina, who is this one right here. But yeah, she's very secretive. She's very, once again, she just knows how to like say things to get you to stop asking questions. Like she knows how to like satisfy someone's curiosity without playing her full hand. I actually did make her into like a character sheet for a one shot that one of my players was running, because we were still trying to get him to like ready to actually DM for the store, but it just never panned out. But it was like really fun to play her, because she's very how should I say this? She really does, like when she's on a mission, she does know how to like get stuff done, which I think is like very cute of her. She had like all like these fire tricks and everything. She's a Phoenix sorcerer. I should have mentioned that in the first place. Yeah, so I don't think Phoenix sorcerers, I think they might have been archived, so I don't know if a lot of people really like play them anymore. They're also, I think, just a little bit underpowered to an extent, because so much of their spellcasting relies on fire, right? Like so much of their feats is just that, and that's cool and all, but like I feel like at some point when you get to like higher levels of Dungeons and Dragons, there's a lot of stuff that kind of just resists fire, which of course would kind of like nerf the entire character. But you know, I guess it also really depends on the campaign. But I really like the flavor of Phoenix Sorcery. I think it's like really cool. I think it's really fun. It's definitely I would say it's definitely one of my favorite subclasses, especially from like all of the sorcerer ones. I think if I had to pick a least favorite, let me look at them all again, actually. Clockwork I really like, because I think that one's just like insanely fun. Let me see. I didn't. Okay. No, I did. Here's Wikidot. My favorite spot that just completely steals everything from Wizards of the Coast. I don't think they steal, but it's like they have so much stuff available. I think. I don't know, I think all of the sorcerer subclasses are like really fun at the end of the day. Some of the archived ones though do make a lot of sense. I can see a giant soul just not being like super popular. I think there was like another one too. Storm sorcerer I think is like cool. I don't think you could ever go wrong with lunar sorcery. Divine soul is probably the only one where I'm not like super like wild about it. At the end of the day. Aberrant mind I think might be the yeah, this is like the Mind Flayer one. Or like it can be. Hilariously enough, to speak on Aberrant Mind sorcerers, one of the ways that you can become an Aberrant Mind sorcerer, just like flavor-wise, right? You were implanted with a Mind Flayer tadpole, but the Ceramorphosis never completed, and now its psionic power is yours. When you use it, your flesh shines with a strange mucus. That is literally just the entire opening of Baldur's Gate 3. So it's just really funny to think, like, oh yeah, like Baldur's Gate 3, you're all secretly like multi-classing as like a sorcerer. But I think that's cool actually, from just like from a character writing standpoint. I think in a lot oh boy. I think in a lot of senses, like, I think it's cool to, like, force players, like, hey, no matter what you do, this is going to be, like, a part of your character. I think that creates, like, an interesting plot at the end of the day. It'd be cool if... I think it'd be really cool if I could figure out how to run a game like that, but I just do not have, like, the energy to write a full campaign. And you might say, doesn't that mean you shouldn't be writing a comic? This is different, I promise. Because at least player interference is not getting in the way of plot lines, like we saw last time, like Bibo was talking about. Let's see. Oh, I hope I'm gonna be able to fit. If worst comes to worst, there's like plenty of space up here. So I guess I'm not too concerned. Let's see, bring this down. I'm hungry. I really gotta stop eating just cheese crackers in the morning. It's just like, I'm so bored. I don't really like... It's like I'm hungry, but it's like I'm too lazy to like actually make food, so I'll just like eat snacks. I'm just not good. Well, it could be worse. I could have like not eaten. That would be worse. I think that was a little bit too long. We'll just keep the really dark part in there. Anyways. We are almost there with like the first layer of shadows on Kina. Go and then let's get this other sleeve. If I remember correctly, her skirt is brown. Which again, I think red pairs with so many like warm colors. It's so nice. I like it a lot. I think if there was any like cooler color on like the spectrum though, that I would want, that I like red with the most, it's probably purple. Because I feel like for me, red and blue just looks a little bit too... How do I put this? Sporty slash patriotic slash things I don't really associate with. Like, I think red and blue is just way too bold of a color combination. Red and purple, however, red and purple I think is a really pretty one. Hence why I ship those two colors together all the time. Lamau. Speaking of, I gotta figure out how to introduce Lilac into the comic, because originally in the plot, Aerie was moving into the dorm, and it was Lilac's dorm. But since we're not taking that approach anymore, I have to figure something else out, and I think I'm gonna switch it around. I think Lilac will be moving into Aerie's dorm, and Aerie's just going to be like a little like unsure about it, because this girl just walked in and she kind of smells like a corpse. Let's see, sleeves. I think while I still can, I'm just going to take this and move this up here. She's got like a lot of colors on her, so it's kind of hard to fit it all in there. Get the gold right now too, I think. Get a little bit more warm. Yeah, I can't wait to introduce Lilac. I think Lilac will be introduced probably in chapter 2. Chapter 1 is called The First Quest, and my plan for the comic is I want to do this chapter by chapter, right? So, I'm going to... So, chapter 1 is going to be the first quest. Chapter 2, I think, is going to be, so what I want to do is I want to be able to upload weekly pages for the chapter, take a small break and hiatus to work on the next chapter, and then we just keep doing that until I feel like it's time for like a proper hiatus, right? That's the way I want to do it. I think that's the way a lot of creators do it. And I think if I just pace myself where the episodes aren't like super long, I think it'll work out? Question mark? I personally want to publish this on Tapastic because I think the story just fits better over there. Like, how should I describe this? I like Tapastic because I think most of the creators there aren't trying to make an anime, and I'm not trying to dog on like creators that like really like to do that. It's just for me, it's like it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like more unique stories in a sense. I don't know how to say I don't know how else to describe it. But all of that being said, Tapastic is kind of just flooded with a bunch of like other things. Like if I go on there right now, it's just there is a lot of manga, I think, on here, but oh my god, one of my comics updated and I didn't get a notification for it. I'm just gonna turn off my phone, and when I turn that on, I will remember to read that. But I just like it a lot more over there, and I think the users over there will probably reminisce with like this kind of story a little bit more than the ones that are on Webtoons, but we'll see. Okay, and that is a big nothing message. Perfect. Then I would turn my phone off from Do Not Disturb, but I am waiting to just like hear from my friends and see like what goes on. I think in a little bit I'll probably like text my other friend and be like, hey, are you still down for today? All cool if you aren't, and stuff like that. Let's see, let's get her hair. Just want to say, whoever like called this color strawberry blonde They were so right. This is probably one of my favorite hair colors just ever in period. It's so pretty. It's such a good color. Um, and I like that I have a character that uses it. Um, Kina's going to be, let's see. There's a bunch of characters that are going to be like introduced in the first chapter. Right? Obviously the main team, because they're the thing. That's what the story is about. The story is about the Wayfinders, the team and everything. Aries going to be the protagonist. I think that's only fair because I think if I tried to write anyone else as a protagonist, they're not exactly my characters. They're my cousin's characters. I don't think I would do them like real justice for that. So I think it's only fair that it's going to be Eri as the protagonist. All of that being said, though, she's not the leader of the team. That title of leader is going to go to Usagi. And I think I personally like that detail a lot because Usagi, my cousin who made her, that cousin is or was our dungeon master when we were playing with these characters. So I personally like the idea of Usagi being the leader for that reason. Usagi is a fighter monk multi-class. We went with that because I didn't feel like drawing a bunch of plate armor, because I don't like drawing plate armor, and I know I should really get used to it, I just don't want to. Yeah, I mean, when push comes to shove, I will, but like, we figured that would be good, so it works out to a really good degree, I think. Again, so Aries the protagonist, and then the rest of the party. So the whole party consists of Eri, Usagi, Chino, Amira, Elian, and Marius. Eri is a druid. Usagi is a rogue fighter multi-class, but we're probably just gonna lean more into like the fighter aspect, honestly. Just because we already have a monk, and Chino is a monk, Amira is a sorcerer, and then Elian and Marius are both rogues. Now, I know I just said I wanted to avoid having, like, or leaning more into, like, Usagi being a monk than, because we already have a monk. But I'm putting the two rogues there specifically because they're supposed to be, like, a rivals to lovers situation, kind of. Sort of. So I thought it would be funny if we did that. So that's my whole reasoning there. Alright, let's take this gold color. I think my personal favorite part about writing the team is that, I think, or at least the way with the first chapter is going right now, it's very, you could tell, like, the party's, like, super, like, awkward with each other still, right? This really is just a bunch of strangers who formed an adventuring team together, but eventually they are going to be really good friends, and this is going to be, like, a sort of a found family, in a sense, if, found families, frequently got into, like, serious trouble regarding extremely powerful people. But I like that it's, like, awkward. I like that, Elian, kind of challenges, like, Usagi's, like, decisions and everything. I like that Marius, is trying to be supportive. I like that everyone is annoyed by Elian and is like, you know what, Usagi, we're gonna try for you. We're gonna do our best. Here, right? We'll see how things work out. I think I think the party dynamic will work out. I think it's good too that when I sent the script to Johnny, or I had him, like, look over it, he said that if it was like in a comic format already, he would read it. I think that was really nice because once again, it is so hard to like open a story. It is so hard to like rope people in, because like what's what's difficult for me to wrap my head around is that a bunch of strangers are going to read this, right? A bunch of strangers are going to read this. I'm sure people from like the community and everything will read this as well, but what's definitely intimidating is the people who don't know me yet. And it's like what is this all going to like look like put together? I'm a little like nervous about that. So it is like a little nerve-wracking thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to make like a good first impression here if I want people to read this, because I want this to start strong, you know. And Clive and Johnny really liked it so far. I didn't get the chance to ask my coworker about the script yet. We'll see. I might ask like, hey, do you like read webcomics by any chance? And if the answer is no, it's just like, okay, never mind then. Now that I think of it, I think both these oranges might be the same shade of orange. Let me just see. Yeah, so they're the same shade of orange, so we're just gonna go here. Go. And then we'll just label this orange accents, I guess. And then the last thing is going to be her top. So let's merge that down, put that back up. We're going to have to go back here and render like these little squiggles on June's face in a moment. I just want to get all the shadows out of the way. Yeah. What is going to be interesting, I think, while working on this is that all of my commissions are still going to be open. So I'm like, oh boy. But you know, I think right now all I'm working towards is I want to have enough pages to have like a backlog. So like as soon as I start uploading weekly, it's like me and Johnny can probably do like a page a week or something like that. We'll see though, because like he does have school. That did start again, unfortunately. Well, kind of fortunately. School usually for him usually means that he actually has something to draw. Because he kind of gets art blocked a lot. But he's been working on it. He's been like sketching out his characters lately. And he's also, I think he's getting to rendering them soon-ish, which I'm really excited to see because I love his art so much. But hopefully. And then Art Walk is going to be next Thursday. Oh my god. It's so cool that like art is like it's so many people like want to be like, oh yeah, like I wish I could just like do this like as a career and like this is what I do all day. And it's like you just gotta work. It's just gonna be like a really slow snail's crawl kind of thing. It's kind of annoying, but at the same time it's like really fun. Like having the commissions open, having the art streams, doing the comic, doing like markets and stuff. It like this really is like kind of a job now. Which is really cool to see. All right. But yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot. So far, this is really fun. I think this is definitely gonna be like up there with like. And we could go. We can start rendering a little bit faster now because I'm just gonna do like very plain. Like Link and Zelda will not show up again. I'll guarantee you that. So I don't need to like save these colors or anything. So yeah, we're gonna start with Zelda first because she's further away. Link is kind of like overlapping on some of Kina's like stuff there, so I'm gonna do him on a separate layer, most likely, and then I'll merge it all as I usually do. I was telling Johnny that I kind of wanted to do Twilight Princess Zelda because I think that one's probably my favorite iteration of Zelda. I think Brunette Zelda was an absolute win because I think for me personally, just like design wise, I think it's nice that she stood out a little bit more from Link. I think making both of them like blonde with blue eyes is just I think it's just a little bit silly because it makes it hard to like distinguish them in a sense. I think making one of them like with brown hair and then the other one with blonde hair is really cute. And I really liked that in Twilight Princess. They, because there have been brunette Links, right? But I think Twilight Princess was one of the only instances of brunette Zelda. I'm not sure because I don't know too much about the series still. I just know that I really liked that take a lot. I think it's my favorite. It's definitely my favorite one. And I was telling Johnny that I do also like vaguely remember hearing somewhere somehow that Zelda herself is actually a bit of a tomboy, which I think is so cute. So in my head I really love to imagine like she probably like does not like the dresses that much. She probably like wants to be doing like the same things that Link is doing, which I fully support. I think Nintendo should make a game where you play as Zelda and party and everything. I think they have kind of Hyrule Warriors in a sense, if I remember. It's just kind of like a beat 'em up, and you can like, well, not beat 'em up. It was a hack and slash. Sorry, it was a hack and slash, and I think you could play as her. I just don't really remember. Probably won't get through the rendering today, but considering I have my late shift tomorrow, I'll probably stay up and finish that, and then I'll upload the progress that I've made on Saturday. I think having it to where I have to like have something to show by Saturdays is going to be a really, really good way for me to make sure I stay focused on this. It's just a little bit sad that the art posts aren't going to be as frequent. But I think right now this comic is way more important to me. I need to like say the story too of like why I really want to like get the ball rolling on this, aside from the fact that I've been holding on to this for a year. Like a month or two ago. Oh, actually, let me just take you back to elementary school days. So back in elementary, there was this kid that I knew. His name was Tori. I was always the shortest kid in the class because of course I was, and he was always the tallest kid. Like the dude was probably like approaching 6 feet when he was in elementary school. And I wasn't like super close friends with him. I think not the same way I was with my other friends. But I really did like hanging around him. I always remembered about him, like, he had, like, really nice art. I really admired how he drew. I liked that he drew, like, Sonic characters and everything, even though I wasn't really into Sonic. I think I was just, like, always just, like, I wanted to be an artist, and Tori was my artist friend at the time, right? And then at some point, I think he went to a different school. I want to say this was middle school. But I don't remember. And the most insane thing happened at Carl's Jr. So, it's been, what, over 10 years now? Maybe approaching 10 years? I don't know. Again, it's kind of hard to remember the last time I saw him. It's been a while, right? And, our shift leader, she's asking me to do something, and she calls me by name, and I'm helping this guy at the front, right? And he goes, like, wait, Kyra? And I'm like, do I know you? And he's like, do you remember me? From elementary, Tori, and I thought about it, I was like, holy shit, I do remember you. That's insane. Cause I was, like, vaguely, like, thinking about him. Not long before meeting him again. But it was just like, oh my god, like, what the heck? So we were catching up a little bit, because, you know, it's been, like, over 10 years. I'm surprised he remembered me, because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I was fairly insignificant in school. I don't think a lot of people would have remembered me. But it was just insane, just seeing him again. Like, holy shit. And, so we caught up when I was on my half. It was so sad, because he was saying, like, yeah, you're probably never gonna see me again, because I'm, like, joining the Marines, like, tomorrow, and everything. But the cool thing is that he still draws. He has a YouTube channel. I don't remember what the channel is called, though. And he had his own webcomic. He didn't tell me the title of the webcomic, but he had it and everything. And I told him, like, oh my god, that is, like, something that I've been, like, trying to, like, figure out, like, I want to do it, but it's just, I can't figure it out right now. Like, I have the plot, I have the characters, I have, like, so much. And, like, his whole thing was, like, you know what I did? I just started. Like, I didn't care too much about how it opened and everything. I didn't care for that. I just like, I'm just gonna do, like, a page a day, and I'm just gonna go from there. I'm like, that's so cool. And, he's right. He's right. Because it's, like, I think one of the big reasons why I didn't want to start the comic yet was because I was so, like, I had an opening for it. I just didn't like the opening, right? And I didn't like it so much that I just kind of, like, stopped working on it. It's like, I need to come up with something better, because this is infuriating, right? And, but he's right. I needed to get out of my head with that. I just needed to, like, do something, right? But because, like, all of that was kind of still happening in the middle of me just wanting to, like, meet my New Year's resolution of running my own art table, I still wasn't doing anything with that. But here I am now. And the best part, too, is that I think I've also just found a way to open the comic in a way that I think is, like, really genuine to, like, what I want to do. And how I want to open it, and how I think it'll be, like, a really good way to get readers, like, attention and everything. But yeah. I hope he's doing fine. It sucks. I should have asked for, like, a phone number or something. Or, like, an Instagram, or just some kind of account. I should have, like, made a note of it, so I could, like, plug him here, because, like, yep. He did give me a sticker, and everything from, like, the stuff that he's made. And, like, I wrote it down in my little, like, sticker journal and everything. Like, I am going to do this because, this guy that I knew in elementary, that I saw again, believes in me, so I'm going to do it. But yeah, just, that was definitely just, like, a sign to start, Probably, like, arguably, like, better than, like, the other encounter that I had with another elementary school classmate that somehow miraculously remembers me. The crazier part is so that second one, him is also Johnny, I think. His name is also Johnny, and I'm taking his order in the drive-thru, right? So he's at the speaker, and I told him, okay, you can go ahead and pull forward, and he's like really excited about it, right? I'm like, okay, it's like a little strange, but you know, I've had my fair share of customers who are like that. He gets to the window and he's like, Kyra! And I'm like, huh? Right? And he's like, do you remember me? And I'm like, am I supposed to? He's like, yeah. I'm like, did we went to elementary school. I think we had like a class together in high school. And I'm like, huh? But here's my thing about that, right? Like, if people recognize me when they see me, that's one thing. I think it's a completely different story when they somehow recognize my voice. Because I don't recognize a lot of voices typically. Especially if it's been years since I last heard from a person. So it was just like how did you know it was me? Like, I don't know. But it was certainly something. I'll say that much. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and quick send a message to my friend, ask if they're still down to go. I forgot I had the comic open. See, if I don't have that comic open, I'm gonna forget to I'm gonna forget to read that comic that got updated. It's called Punderworld. If you haven't checked it out, absolutely check it out. Like, I need to like plug so many comics. Okay. Actually, yeah, we're just checking. Still good for today. My God, my friend just sent me something. I don't know what it is. It looks strange. But it says La Puta. And she's like, she is Mexican, I believe. So this is a really funny, like, packaging title. La Puta. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I forget if she's told me before, her reaction to hearing puto for the first time, but in the Filipino context. For those who aren't aware, there's like some shared words between Filipino dialects and Spanish. In fact, we have a Spanish Creole called Chabacano, which uses Spanish words, like purely Spanish words, but it uses Filipino grammar rules. I believe that's how the Creole works. And the craziest thing about okay, well, no, let me go back. So the funniest thing about it, I should say, is occasionally Spanish swears kind of become the names of our desserts. So, puto and mamon. This one my friend taught me. Puto in Spanish, I don't exactly remember what it means. I'm fairly certain it's something to the effect of bitch, something like that. Puto for us, though, is a tiny little sweet ground rice cake. So you can imagine how funny that is, just saying like, hey, does anyone want some puto today? And like, if you don't know, you don't know, and I'm so sorry. But mamon is another one that's kind of funny. Apparently, mamon in Spanish is something like stupid. Something to that effect. At least that's what she told me. Mamon for us is a sponge cake. And then I think there was another one that I saw. I have never had this bread before. I don't think I've seen it in any Filipino bake shops that I've been to. But there's this one called pan de regla. Now, I have had pan de ubi before and pan de sal. I'd never heard of pan de regla before, but pan de regla, um, from a YouTube video that I saw a while ago, is a Filipino bread. It is a bread with red down the middle, and all of the Spanish-speaking people who were watching that were just like you really called this that? It's like a, because I think it basically translates to period bread. And to be fair, this is probably like the closest to its original meaning like this dessert name has ever had. So yeah, we did call it that, apparently. But a lot of times too, there's like just words that are just like really close, and it's only like vaguely changed because certain letters just don't exist in Filipino. The word for cow, for example, I believe it's vaca with a V, vaca, in Spanish, whereas in Filipinos, it's baca with a B. So I know that one. Tocino is another one that's like kind of different. Tocino for us is like a style of cooked pork, and tocino in Spanish is literally just bacon, which, to be fair, is also a style of cooked pork, but that's not the point that I'm trying to get across here. So you can imagine me in Spanish class too, just trying to be like, well, maybe it actually just does mean like pork. It does not just mean pork, it is very much bacon. But it is cool. I do like that the languages interact in very silly ways with that. That will, like, the whole puto thing will never not be funny to me. I almost feel like I should bring it to like, work. Just, scratch it out. Scratch out the name and be like, it's a ground rice cake, I promise. Maybe I'll ask, like, my friend that, like, hey, do you think I should do this? One day, just be like, hey. Oh, you know what I should do? My manager is off in a different location now. I should, like, visit her location and be like, hey, I brought you some... And I'll say it. We'll have a laugh. I should visit her. I should visit her. I think it'd be very fun to visit her. Anyways, I'm definitely hungry. I'm gonna keep talking about food so I get even hungrier. Just don't know what kind of food to talk about, actually. Never mind. That went nowhere. Let's see. Oh, yesterday. Let me talk about yesterday a little bit more. Yesterday. So I went to McDonald's before work because I got called in late, and I was like, well, I have time to actually go somewhere and eat, like, actual... Well, it's not actual food, but you know what I mean. Something a little bit more than, like, a granola bar or crackers. And, what was it? So I'm sitting there at the McDonald's, right? I'm just on my phone, and I kind of noticed that there was an old man looking at me, and I'm like, I look back at him, just kind of like giving like a confused look, and then he stops, right? He wasn't saying anything, but like the way he was looking at me didn't seem malicious at all. It seemed more like confused. So I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. But I still feel like someone's watching me. I turned to my left. There's a guy at a different table. There's a guy at a different table trying to talk to me. So I take off my headphones, and mind you, I don't have earbuds on me. I have like an actual Bluetooth headset that I use to listen to music when I'm out. And I'm like, like, are you talking to me, sir? And I can't really hear him still because there's like also music going on in the McDonald's. And he's just, the only word that I could make out was skate. And I was like, no, I don't skate. And he was like, no, like, there's like a game, and he keeps going, And I'm just there like, why are you trying to talk to me? I'm clearly not there to talk to people. Like, I have my headphones on, so I just put my headset back on, and he's still trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, dude, like, actually piss off right now. I was a little scared, I won't lie, because, again, he didn't seem terribly malicious. He didn't seem like he was trying to start, like, some sort of friendly conversation. It's just, reading body language, I think, goes a long way. So that happened. I was telling Johnny about it. He's like, maybe you should bring something for, like, self-defense. I'm like, arguably I should. But I will forget. But yeah, I think the weird thing for me personally, what just, like, kind of, like, set me off, finally, was when I was leaving. I saw him, like, outside the other, like, stores in the plaza, and he's just looking through the windows. And it's like, what is this guy doing? Like, genuinely. And I was just thinking to myself, I hope he did not see me leave the restaurant, and I hope that he does not approach my car. Then again, if he did approach my car, I would have floored it, so there was also that. Yeah, just, like, really weird stuff. Maybe he was trying to talk to something else, to someone else. I just don't know what he was talking about, because, again, it's like, if it's like a game or something, like, sure, I guess, but at the same time, it's like, come on, how do you look at someone with, like, a big-ass headset on, and you try to, like, talk to them? Like, come on. It was just weird. I don't think I look like I skate either. Or, more importantly, it looked like I shouldn't have been playing any games. I was just, well, maybe he thought I was playing something on my phone. That could have been it. But at the same time, it's like, why would you ask people that? I don't know. Maybe I just need to dress aggressively lesbian and people will stop talking to me. I don't know. Oh yeah. What else is there? What else is there to talk about? I was talking with my friend after work. We were texting each other. I was, like, complaining, like, I can't believe I only got 3 hours of my 6-hour shift today. Like, my shift got cut in half, right? And, we were talking about it. We were discussing, like, maybe that, like, why is labor so high? And it's like, okay, well, also, why are sales so bad? And I was explaining, like, oh, it could be, like, any number of reasons why the sales are so bad at Carl's Jr. right now. It could be, like, the prices. It could be maybe there's, like, members and staff who are, like, kind of ruining it for the rest of us. I also said, like, it could be that some of our product might have gotten, like, a little bit of a downgrade. Because, I don't think I'm legally supposed to disclose this information. So I'm just gonna be careful with how I word it. There is a difference in the products that we have right now. Some of them, at least. I don't think all of them. And, I think they were to, like, cut back on costs, but that does mean that the quality suffers just a little bit, which is kind of annoying. That is as much as I think I'm allowed to say. I don't really remember what the websites tell us. And I don't particularly care to lose my job over this. So I was explaining that. But then I also said, like, you know, like, it could be worse. Like, we're a corporate location. We could have, like, franchise price locations. They didn't know the exact difference between, corporate and franchise locations. So I was like, okay, I'll explain, like, what I know. So the way that I think it works is, like, we're a corporate location. So corporate owns the building, and corporate will, like, dictate how they want us to run the building. That's part of the reason why it's so strict. Right? And I just realized I'm on the wrong layer. Oops. That's part of the reason why it's so strict. A franchise location is just what happens when somebody wants to open their own Carl's Jr. location. So I don't know the exact process for that, but I am aware that, like, in general, the managers of franchise locations just kind of like do things as they want, provided that they work within like certain like boundaries and everything, right? But that does mean that they can like change the prices as they want. And I was explaining, I think this one franchise location that Johnny had gone to for a little bit, he did intend to work there, until just like it was just really bad management and everything over there. So he like didn't show up the next day. Their prices were insane. So I think this was before the wage increase for fast food workers. I think at the time our Western bacon was maybe around $7 to $8. Like the single, just by itself, was about $7 to $8 before, like, or after tax. I think might have even been $6 at some point. I don't really remember. So we'll just say $6 to $8, somewhere in that ballpark, right? I'd asked Johnny this for clarification. A single Western at that franchise location was $12 before the tax, before the wage increase, which is insane to like charge. Like, absolutely not. I will say I did misremember it, and I thought it was like the shakes were $10. That was not the case. And thankfully I do remember the price of the shakes before like any stupid, dumb, silly price increases. Our shakes used to be, I think, $4.95 after tax, something to that effect. The shakes over at that franchise location were like $7. It's insane. It's just like, I cannot imagine like charging people for like so much for that. And like, it's all still only like one size too. Like, it's all still like the small 16-ounce cup. It's ridiculous. And then that just kind of like spurred us on like a whole conversation about just like completely tone deaf, ignorant CEOs and stuff. Cause oh my god, what was it? It was Randy Pitchford, I think. He was like, yeah, no, $70 isn't that bad for Borderlands 4. In fact, back in my day, I remember I would work really hard to get games that I want. You were probably working like minimum wage, or working at your stupid little like whatever dollar store thing back in like the 80s or 70s or whatever, when prices weren't so stupid. Because the issue is like right now prices are incredibly stupid, and $70 can be used for a lot of other things that aren't Borderlands 4, which I don't really have high hopes for, by the way. If they bring Maya back, though, I think I will get it just to see her again. I'm not gonna lie. I love Maya so much. Point being, though, CEO's completely tone deaf on like that whole thing. Johnny says it's probably because of like the tariffs, and it's like, that's like reasonable, I guess, but at the same time it's like, okay, well, if the physical copy is going to be more expensive because of the tariffs, that makes sense. The digital ones, though, shouldn't be that much, and even then I'm still like very pensive about buying like digitally sometimes. And my friend, I didn't realize just how expensive the Switch 2 was until they put it into perspective for me. They said they could buy a Switch OLED, I think a mini Switch, I believe? A Switch OLED, a mini Switch, and then like 2 or 3 games for the price of one Switch 2. Which is, oh my god, like, I didn't realize how bad it was. That is insane. That is actually ridiculous. It's just like, oh my god, I can't imagine. And then as it turns out too, the physical cartridges that you buy for the Switch 2, just house like digital keys and stuff. So when that cartridge gets put into too many systems, the system either blocks you from playing or just stops working. So it's like the whole point of like, for me, right? My whole reason behind buying physical copies when I can is the fact that there's like this whole dumb, stupid, idiot push. It's like, oh, well, buying isn't actually owning, and you have to get used to that. It's like, that's the dumbest goddamn thing I've ever heard. Shut up, right? So it's like, if I own the physical thing, they can't take that away from me. And they, like, 100% agree. It's like they're, like, it's just a gross business tactic, I think. I'm mostly okay with it on Steam because this is just, like, the platform that I play on, so it's like I kind of have to be okay with it to an extent. And we don't really have the consoles because consoles are expensive. And I think they do require, like, a good amount of maintenance at the end of the day, considering, They do require a good amount of maintenance at the end of the day, considering, like, I'm sure you, like, gotta open it, get some dust out, probably, like, give it a good, like, thing. The fans and everything, and the casing, just so on and so forth. But it's just all of that to say, fuck, literally, like, that whole, like, buying isn't owning thing. Because, genuinely, to that I say, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing at this point. Because it's like, I paid for it. Like, why shouldn't I have it? But yeah. This is also just, like, another reason why I like emulators a lot. I think pretty much all the emulators that I do have, which is not a lot, to be fair, all of them I do have the physical copy of the DS game. Because that's what I use. That's what I personally like the emulators for. It's like my DS doesn't work. Like the shoulder buttons kind of always get like stuck or something, as in like typical DS fashion, and then what was I gonna say? Man, I hate that this happens to me so much. My DS doesn't work right, so the shoulder button like kind of gets stuck a lot, and then like I think the microphone also doesn't work, so there's like some games that kind of like use that. Bowser's Inside Story, I remember, is like one of them, and it's just a whole thing. So it's like I like playing on my computer because at least I know the computer isn't going to break like that. But I don't think I have saved in a while, so let me do that real quick. Yeah. I like how this is looking so far. I think maybe I'll do shadows, and then I might send this to Johnny as the PSD and be like, hey, do you think, because I want to get his opinion on, like, backgrounds before I, like, really lock in on, like, highlights and stuff. Even though the highlights, I think, are just gonna end up being, like, very, like, natural toned and everything. I just want to make sure. I would do the backgrounds myself, but again, I just don't feel very strong in them. Like, I can handle backgrounds to, like, some extent, just not a particularly good extent. So I really need him to do that. I don't mind doing, like, most of the, everything else, though. The initial plan was going to be, we were going to do it, so I did the sketch, he did the outlines, the way that I like to do the outlines, and then he would do the backgrounds, and then I would render. So that way the workload was kind of divided in half. But lately, he's been going for more of like, lately he's feeling like he doesn't really like outlines all that much, or the inking process, in a sense. So, I'm like, that's fine. I can do that. I just need you to do like this one thing then. And I think the comic will, it'll benefit the comic in the long run, because I think it'll look a little bit more, I guess, cohesive in a sense. All of that being said, though, I think we do need to figure out a way to do like the file sharing in a more seamless way, because emailing each other back and forth, I think will just eventually take too long, and these files will end up like relatively big, and these files are just going to end up like big, and then it's going to be like messy and everything. Because like we'll have to figure out that. So I don't know how we're going to handle that just yet. Hopefully, if I could, honestly, I might be able to do it through iMessage, because I do have Medibang on there on my iPad, and it might work out. But that's still only, it might work out. So it is approaching 1:30. Yeah, so we're definitely not going to finish rendering this page today, but I think I'll try and finish it later tonight when we get home. Stay up late, do that probably. We'll see. We'll see how late I stay up anyways. I think I went to bed kind of early last night because I was really tired, and ended up waking up early as a result too. Lo and behold, my sleep schedule is fixed without me even like trying, which is beautiful. I do intend on breaking it again. Oh my god, I need to talk about this stupid thing that me and my friend were joking about on Sunday. Sunday when I was driving them home, it was just really funny because I was saying like we were talking about the new manager, right? And again, once again, one of my biggest concerns is that I need to make these dumb, stupid jokes to keep myself sane throughout the day, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's probably fine. We're not exactly sure yet on how the manager is going to take these jokes. I hope he takes them well enough, because it'll be really awkward if he doesn't. All that being said, though, it was funny just me joking around, like, you know what? It's just me joking around, like, you know what? I can break him. I can get him to start making these jokes too. If you're just like laughing our asses off and everything, just like I'm such a bad influence at the store. Everyone is making these jokes because of, or a good handful, not everyone, but a good handful of people are making these jokes because of me. I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, it's just really funny. My friend, it was really funny. It was really cute because they were like, yeah, when I first started working there, you still had like this really like puffy jacket on, and like you were like really awkward and everything, and then you started screaming about poisoning the customers. It's just like they're like, I'm so sorry if that was like a jump scare or something. This is just how I am. It goes on because it's like it was just so fun to them because in their head it's like, well, this is like a nice neighborhood. The workers here are probably also like reasonably sane, I guess. And then and then I showed up. I would argue that the workers here are arguably insane because we're in a nice place full of entitled assholes. And then it got to the point. I understand. I'm like very self-aware that I can be a little strongly worded sometimes. I can be a little, I can be a little funny. So I just need to know. I want to know just from the point of view of a customer. I want to sit in a dine somewhere, right? And I just want to like hear my cashier, the person making my milkshake, scream about pouring bleach into the shake. I just want to know what that sounds like from the outside. And I've said this before. I would like to know what it's like knowing me from the outside too, just like cuz I'm weird. I like there's no getting around that. I'm just a complete weirdo who likes to make funny jokes about poisoning people. And most people at the store, they're like, "Oh yeah, this person's funny." In fact, most people when I say as well, like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna blow up the store today," they laugh. They laugh. They think I'm funny. But at the same time, it's like, it's like how like I there's got to be like one person out there who hears all of this and goes, "This person is a complete psychopath, and I think they should lose their job for it." And I'm like, "Oh, it's a joke. It's just a silly little joke because this place sucks." Oh my god. Speaking of like this place sucking, if there's anything that sucks more than the store, it's probably our stupid mobile app. Yesterday, this customer comes into the drive-thru, right? And he's like, "Can I redeem this coupon for a buy one, get one for two for the Western Bacons?" And I'm like, "Yeah, so that's 2 single Westerns, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, go ahead and pull forward, and we'll scan your app, and we'll have your total at the window, right?" And he gets to the window. Lo and behold, his app goes like, "Oh, sorry, this coupon code is unavailable right now. You're gonna have to wait, like, go ahead and try again in, like, the next 15 minutes. And I'm like, "Are you shitting me, right?" So I'm like, "I'm not really sure what I can do about that, sir. I can probably give you a 10% discount." And then I remembered, oh yeah, that little button that we have, the buy one get one for that we're using for the famous stars right now, that was actually originally for the buy one get one mix and match for the famous and the Western. So it does work with 2 Westerns. So I explained that to him, like, "Hey, I can't get you buy one get one for 2, but I can get you a buy one get one for $1, as long as you don't tell my manager." He's just like, hey, you're good. You're like really good at this." And I'm like, "Thank you. I try." He's like, "You know what? When you're ready, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give you a job." And I'm like, "A job? Oh, like, yes, please." "What kind of job?" He's in sales, as it turns out. He does get paid minimum wage, but I think he phrased it a little bit weirdly. But he did say, I think that he also gets like commission from it. So it's like commission on top of the minimum wage for it. And I'm like, "Oh man, that is actually like so cool." So if he was serious about that, I will probably be taking that offer because that is hilarious. But yeah, and then I had to do it again for like another person, because I got yet another false coupon. I can't show it on stream because I don't have my camera on. But basically, it's buy one get one for get one free for the single Western bacon cheeseburgers. Okay, sounds normal enough. And I take this coupon from the guy, and I'm looking at the coupon, looking at the little poster about the fraudulent coupons we've been getting. Look at the coupon again, and I'm like, "Well, it's got a coupon code on it, so at least we can try and see if it works." I put the coupon code in. Lo and behold, it does not work. So I explained to him, "Hey, I can't get this to you. And technically, the deal that we're supposed to offer is buy one get one for free, but I can't find the button for that, and I think I might need a manager. I might have needed like manager permissions to like do that in like a more like do a custom discount kind of way, which I don't have." And I think I would get in trouble. Well, technically, I know all the most of the manager pins at the store, so I can just like hijack that. But I think that will also get me in trouble. So I was like, "I can get you buy one get one for $1 if that's okay." So I did it again there. But it's not my fault. Like, the stupid app doesn't work, and it's not my fault we've been getting these stupid coupons that are fake. I've collected, like... Is this bad for me to say online? I will say, I'm kind of collecting them for a reason. And I think this reason will be really, really funny, right? So hear me out. Hear me out. I know these are fake, and I know we're taking them to locations. I know they're doing like the whole fraudulent coupon warning at multiple locations, right? So hear me out. Hear me out. These coupons, you can't redeem them, but you can like you do still get the offer of a buy one get one for free, technically, Western bacon cheeseburger. So I'm like, what if I just like bring these to my dad and be like, Dad, this is a fake coupon, but if you present this fake coupon, they will offer you a buy one get one for free for the single Western bacon. Would that be wrong to do? Would that be wrong to do? Like me knowingly scamming the company that I work at? Would that be mean? I'm only saying this because I'm like positive that like no one's listening to this. Is that mean though? Will that get me in trouble? I don't think it will. I think it's rather smart. After all, they didn't... I collect the coupons so just so like they're off the street, right? And like no one else... it's just... And so it doesn't cause like any confusion and everything. That being said, I have 3 of them. What is actually stopping me from just pulling this little stunt at a Carl's Jr.? Because I think buy one get one for free for the single Western is technically a bigger discount than my 20% 20% employee discount. So I think I can scam the stores. I'm like debating on it yet. It wouldn't be. I also wouldn't be like the person to do it. I will be sending my dad to do that. I'll be like, Dad, you want to scam some corporations today? You want to abuse the system a little bit? And he's gonna be like, well, Kyra, isn't this a little like I'm like, no, Dad, hear me out. He's kind of weird though. Sometimes he's like only okay doing stuff like that when it's him doing it. If I try to do it, it'll be like, oh, I don't know, Kyra, you don't really need to. And I'm like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. You raised me, Dad. You're gonna reap the consequences of what you sowed. Alright. And that is link done. Look at them all. Oh, isn't this so cute? Isn't this just like a lovely little scene? I'm excited. I'm so excited for this comic to get rolling. Ah! I love my characters. Oh, wait. Put that back on. The little clipping layer to go through here. So we're just going to, that's a bit dark actually. We're just gonna do that. That's gonna be her face tendrils. There we go. And then let me go ahead and put this down, write this down somewhere too. Swatch this. Let's see. Face marks. And there we go. That is our render reference done and everything. I believe we got everything. We should have. But yeah. From here it's just going to be the all of this. The table. So, let's see, it's a bit too red. There we go. We're only going to be going until 2 today. Maybe I'll end just a little bit beforehand too, like if I just think it's a good stopping point. Just because, once again, I do need to get ready to go to the mall with my friends. You know, that's one of the only reasons why we're going to the mall is because Johnny felt like eating the Korean hot dogs there. And you know what? I can't blame him. It was a pretty good corn dog. Did I say hot dogs? I meant corn dogs. Let's see, what's my... I should give a little review about that. My review for the Korean corn dogs, because this was my first time trying them. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit more savory. I like sweet sometimes, when it comes to, like, meats and cheeses. But the thing is that I think this time around, I think it just would have felt a lot better if it was more like savory and salty, rather than sweet. But it was pretty good. I still liked it. Do I think it was like completely worth it? Mostly, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna render the trays. I'm too lazy. Yeah, it was nice trying them for the first time. I think when we went, it was with a different friend. We would be taking him today, but he's got school. Or he's still in high school. The only reason why we're friends with him, too, is because he works at Carl's Jr. as well. Before anyone gets any funny ideas there. And he is 18 at the same time, too, actually. Point being, though, this is the only reason why we know this fucking kid. And let me just... If I could, I would show off the actual first page, because once again, this is not page 1, this is page 2. Page 2 I already sent to Johnny, so he could start with a background on that. I'm gonna hope that he does it, because otherwise I don't know what I'm gonna do for the comic. I am not good at backgrounds, and I assure you it will not look that good if I tried to do it. When I was taking reference for that first page, though, because originally, I wanted the entire comic to, or I wanted home base, rather, I should say. I wanted, like, the sort of, like, base of operations to be this city called Tanamo City, right? And it took place in the Ophelian Archipelago, and the Ophelian Archipelago was supposed to be kind of like a fantasy Philippines, in a sense. So the city that I referenced for the opening shot is of Iloilo City, right? And but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I probably shouldn't have the comic take place in Ophelian Archipelago, because hang on. Because the party's gonna be going to this continent that's north of the archipelago called Ivora. And if they just keep going back to Ivora, then there's just no point in having the entire setting be in the archipelago. Obviously, I think there's going to be like storylines that go to the archipelago, but the majority of them are taking place in Ivora, I think. Like Imperium, the Elven City, that has to do with some character backstories, that's in Ivora. The what's it called? The places for like the main arc in chapter, or the main arc, the first arc, is going to be in Ivora. It basically, a lot of it is taking place in Ivora, so there's fundamentally no point in me having them constantly leave the archipelago. It's just more convenient if it takes place on one of the Ivoran cities. And I've chosen that city to go ahead and just be, what's it called? I've chosen that city to just be a New Anthea. New Anthea is on the southern coastline of Ivora. There's a couple ports there. New Anthea was actually the setting for one of the first one-shots I wrote for the game store. It was the eco-terrorism one. Oh boy, am I gonna know how to, like, render salmon? Let me see. I think I can do it without looking at too terribly much reference. So we're gonna go kind of dark. Kind of just slap that on there, right? But we're going to texture it now, so watch this. We're going to take our... not the fluffy... well, maybe a little bit of the fluffy watercolor. But specifically I want the spatter, right? to go around like that. Really create like a texture there. We're gonna go a little bit darker. Come on, I like salmon enough to like know what it looks like, right? This is drawing, right? Yeah, it is. We'll go darker. And we're just going to keep going darker. Just something like that. Give me 1 second. I think I need to like fill that in up there a bit more. I'm gonna go back to this now. Go near black. Just give it like some good texture. We also like bump that up a little bit more. So that's the opacity. It's just kind of pale, right? Or yeah, that really didn't do too much. Okay. Okay, we'll put that back down to 60 then, I guess. And then I'm gonna take the fluffy watercolor. We're just going to darken up the spot around those char marks there, right? It's 144, okay. And then just kind of go around like that and make a little bit of a nice gradient. And I think I need a different spatter brush, which I should have. It should be this one. So we're just going to, it's a bit tall. Just gonna do that, go around, go in with like some different like shades and blending here. Then we'll just clean up real quick. Don't you just love when you use the shaved beard brush for your salmon? Doesn't that sound so tasty? Then I'm gonna add some like lighter bits here. It's gonna be more like this actually. More like that. It's kind of like glistening and oily in a sense. Go back to this. Cover that up. See, now it doesn't look so like raw and everything. And then I want to go to the liquids here. Let's see. Do something like that. We'll do the same thing here. And there we go. Merge that down for now, and then the last thing we need are the plates, and then I'm going to put a wood grain on the table as well. And the plates shouldn't be too bad. It's just, I'm going to put like a little thing here to give it some depth. because this is a pretty flat surface, but like the plates do typically have like a little like indent, I guess. Let me just do that so that's a little bit more apparent, and then we'll do like a shadow underneath the food. I'm not going to worry about being too neat with this. Okay, maybe I will just a little, actually. Do that. The bowl, however, that does kind of need some more stuff, some more work to it. So I'll do this, and then what I want to do is do like a thin sort of line like this. And then we'll have like another sort of like thing up here. And just keep going. I think that'll start looking a little bit more 3D too when I actually go in with highlights and everything. Okay. Well, that is shadows done at the very least. I think that is a decently good stopping point, just to make sure that I have enough time to get everything ready before we leave. All right. So, sorry to cut things short again, but it is getting to the point where we do need to be getting ready. But yeah. Hopefully I'll have a lot of stuff to show off on Saturday. Hopefully I won't get stuck. I hope I won't get stuck. I'm excited to be working on this. I want to have the highlights done by Saturday, so I think that'll be good. Worst comes to worst, I'm going to start setting very specific goals for myself regarding the comic. So we'll do that, and I think social media at the end of the day is going to be what helps me get through this. I kind of like using social media for that, like using it as a to-do list, and because I promised an audience that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Okay, next stream is going to be Tuesday. That one's going to be a nighttime stream, most likely. And then Wednesday night at 10 p.m., I think that one is going to be our 100 follower base concert special. So do be sure to not miss that. Sorry, don't miss that. And Thursday there probably won't be a stream because I will be I should be at the art walk in the city next to us. So yeah, I'm gonna start getting ready to go out with my friends, and I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all as always, and I'll catch you next time.